Hey guys, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. I was going to say happy Friday, but it is Saturday. I hope your Saturday is going well. I wanted to come on here and do a live. I feel like I haven't done a live video in a little while. I don't know when the last time, maybe like 2 weeks ago. How are you feeling? If you're just tuning into my channel, I'm going to do this video. Number one, it's going to be about dudes who spin the block. And then we're going, because my cousin gave me an idea. She said, why do dudes be breaking up and backtracking? So I said, I got you. However, before I do that video, I wanted to let you guys in on who I am and how I became a life coach. Because if you're watching this on TikTok, a lot of you just know me from doing my videos. You don't necessarily know the behind the scenes, why I became a life coach, why I specialize in dating and communicating X, Y, and Z. However, if you're watching this on YouTube, some of you may be more familiar with me and because you've been following my page and my page is growing. Side note, my allergies are still kicking my behind. I am like a walking ball of sneezes. So please forgive any sneezes if I have to like move over here to like catch my nose because it's running away. So, all right. The first thing I want to let you guys know, my name is Coach B. Wiley. The B stands for Brooke. All right. So a long time ago, many moons ago, when I lived in Arkansas, I've been here in St. Louis, Missouri for about 13 years now. But when I lived in Arkansas, I used to date. I used to be the most naive girl you would ever meet when it came to dudes. I was never taught about dudes. This is how a dude shall be. Like my dad never taught me anything about that. My mother, it was just like, girl, you grown, go out there, little duckling, and figure it out. So when it came to dudes, I had a previous history, a previous pattern of choosing guys who were emotionally unavailable. And you never want to choose a guy like that. I think a guy who is emotionally unavailable is probably at the top 5 of one of the guys you want to avoid. So think about me in my 20s. In my 20s, I'm plumb dumb. I had the hearts in my eyes. And what I mean by that, if you don't know what hearts in your eyes means, it's a term I came up with. It means that when you see a guy, he's aesthetically pleasing. He just looks good. So if you like a guy that wears glasses, boom, he wears glasses. If you like a guy that has a beard, has a gap, if you like guys with the big ears, if you like guys with big hands, if you like masculine men, whatever your jam is, I continue to date guys and get super infatuated with dudes for whatever reasons, whatever I was into at the time. I would go for those guys, and those guys, for the most part, happen to be emotionally unavailable. Don't get it twisted. I have met guys who were solid, guys who were ready to be with me, relationship ready, and guess what I did? My foolish self back then just really didn't know what to do with those guys. So I messed it up. I made a bad decision. I self-sabotaged. I pushed the dude away. And then it is what it is, right? And so I can say that I did that because I've moved beyond that. Those guys are over it. Everybody is good. But I recognize that was an error of mine. So if you're in this situation right now and you're watching this video and you know you have some hangups on your dating and you haven't been able to forgive yourself for screwing over a dude, you didn't do it on purpose. I didn't screw the dudes over on purpose. And it wasn't a whole bunch either. Probably less than 5 guys. I can think of one right now in my 20s. And then, no, there's 2. And then I didn't screw the second one over. It was just, I chose the wrong dude. But the first one I can think of, he was solid. And then there was another one in my 30s. He was solid. I chose the wrong guy. Sometimes I had been put in situations to where there's 2 dudes that I got to choose from because they shooting a shot, they coming at me hard, and then I chose the wrong dude. And there ain't nothing like making a bad dating decision and you're just like, dang, you're beating yourself up about it. But why should you? You only can get what you got with what you got to work with. So back then, I wasn't that bright when it came to dating. So I used the tools that I had, ignorant as I was, bad decision making as I was, but I used what I had to make those decisions. Unfortunately, they weren't the best decisions, but there's also a lesson in that, and I learned from that. So as I was going along dating, I then began to start journaling. This is in my 20s. I'm in my 40s. So this was in my 20s. So I'm journaling about the guys that I'm dating. And then next thing I know, I was like, I kind of want to make this into a book. It became a book. The book is actually right here. This is the book. Hello, my name is Single. And so in that book, I talk all about different guys that you don't want to date. I give you dating scenarios, like real life stuff. I'm writing a part 2 to that book. It's called Hello, My Name is Single, Ready to Mingle, where I break down even more guys you want to stay away from. That book is coming this year. I'll let you know when it's out. However, so I'm journaling, I'm dating these guys, I'm making mistakes. I ended up dating this one guy long term. We dated for almost 5 years, about 5 years. And then it ended. It was toxic. It was on and off. It was toxic. But I knew that he loved me. 100%. He was emotionally available. He was invested. It was just toxic. We should have just been friends. I know, have y'all ever been in something that was just like, you know what? Why didn't we just stay friends? Why did we have to cross the line? It just don't make sense. So when I moved to Illinois, when I was 30, that canceled out that relationship. Me and him kept talking, but it was never romantic again. So then fast forward 2014. So I moved in 2011 to Illinois. I moved to St. Louis in 2012. It's telling me to do something. I don't know what it's telling me to do. Not YouTube. TikTok just put something on the screen. Sorry about that. All right. So I moved in 2011 from Arkansas to Illinois. And then in 2012, I moved to St. Louis. So the book, I have been writing on this book, and I published this book in 2018. So in between time, in 2014, January of 2014. So I was just working a regular schmegular job. I didn't know. So I'm still going about not really knowing about dating, knowing I'm still not getting it right. I had been with that dude for 5 years. It was on and off. It was toxic. But for the most part, I'm still making not the best decisions. Now I'm in my 30s. I'm in a whole different place. I'm in St. Louis. I dated a lot online when I first moved to Illinois. I won't ever date online ever again. I have not done that in, oh God, I can't even remember when. It's been so long. I know it works for people. Don't work for me. So anyway, I did a lot of dating online, and I really wasn't looking for anything serious because I didn't have my stuff together. I was living in my cousin and his wife's house. Then I rented a room in St. Louis with a bunch of strangers. And then in the summer of 2012, I got my own place. So then I'm dating around. Now I'm wanting a boyfriend, but I'm still attracting that same kind of dude because nothing has really changed within me. I can be journaling until my freaking finger fell off, but nothing is really changing. No growth is being made. No, I'm not evolving. So then I have a best friend at the time. And this best friend is a guy. I had been knowing him since I was 22, I think is when we met. We met in our early 20s. We had dated casually, but we had kept in touch over the years. It was nothing romantic after that, but we just kept in touch. I dedicated this book. This book that you see right here is dedicated to the best friend I had at that time, because had it not been for him, he schooled me so well on men. And it was just like, wow, he just opened my eyes up to how men operate, what men think, how they do, what I should do, what kind of woman I need to be. He just literally helped me to take my training wheels off, take the blindfold off, help me to see guys for who they are and to act accordingly. Now, did I make some mistakes even with his teachings and with him educating me? Of course I did, because you can't just snap out of being stupid. And I say stupid because I was making stupid decisions when it came to dudes. Now, did I learn over time? Of course I did, because here I am talking to you every day about it. However, in those moments, as he was teaching me, I was still going through the motions with dudes. I remember the last bad decision I made with a dude when I picked the wrong dude was in 2013. I picked the wrong dude. And then after that, I remember the last time a dude ghosted me and literally dogged me out. It was 2 of them. And I talk about this on my TikTok. Mac Daddy dogged me out and Silent Bob. I'm not going to use their real names, guys. So Mac Daddy dogged me out and Silent Bob. Silent Bob, then Mac Daddy. It was in that order. And when I say they dogged my naive butt out, oh, yes, ma'am, walking like a dog is what they did. And I can laugh about it now because I needed that dog walking, because I needed to get a clue. So thank God for that, because in 2017 is when I really was broken all the way down to the ground, because I was in dating hell. And that's when I began to just get myself developed. And even then, side note, I forgot this part. So that's 2017, right? When I started to build myself up and turn over a new leaf and become B. Wiley. All right. So in 2014, I was coaching. I didn't know I was a life coach then. I had no idea. I just knew I was getting online like I'm doing right here. And I was empowering women about dating, about being single, about knowing your worth, all that jazz. So that was in 2014 when I was still making dumb decisions. And then that's 2014. I don't get my rude awakening until 2017. Look at that time in between that I'm still showing up online, but I'm doing dumb stuff behind the scenes. It happens because changing, growth, evolving isn't going to happen overnight. Some people do it faster. I guess I was a slow learner. It is what it is. So, all right. 2017, after them last two dudes dog walked me, I began to like wake up. Thank God. Thank God that I woke up. So as I'm waking up, then I'm still doing these things. I'm still offering advice. I've been on podcasts. I've been on several podcasts where they asked me to speak. I did a speaking engagement in 2018 in Arkansas where I got paid to speak. And then in 2020, is when I decided I'm going to get certified to be a life coach. You do not have to be certified to be a life coach. But I was like, I want to get certified and I want to do this. I'm just going to do it because my job at the time, my corporate job that I had been there for many years, they eliminated my job January of 2020. And then in March, I got certified to be a life coach. And then I got my first paying client in May of 2020. And so I've been doing paid coaching sessions since May of 2020. And the people who are hiring me, like multiple people hire me all the time. I'm getting hired all the time. I'm booking ever since then. So that's how I make my income. I make my income off my book sales. And then I make my income off my client intake. And then if someone wants to book me to speak somewhere, that hasn't happened for a while. But if somebody does, well, COVID happened and then COVID's been over now. But if somebody wanted to book me for a session, then I'll get paid for that. But I get the majority of my money from my clients and from my book sales. And speaking of book sales, I'm working on my new website. I had to change my website. That's a whole nother video. But I have a new website that I'm creating. So my website is going to be coachbwiley.net. That's what it is. If you go there right now, there's nothing there because I'm actually just got the domain and I have to build it. But if you want to email me, you can email me at datingtips@coachbwiley.net. And I will answer your question. You can book a session with me. If you want to book a session with me, you click the link in my bio, my mentor.life, Coach B. Wiley. If you want to, that's fine. If you don't, look at the free content, but I'm just giving y'all a little story here. And so the reason why I wanted to do it. So that's what I do. And I come on here and I either give y'all a couple minute videos. My videos can be as short as 60 seconds and they can go up. I think my longest video was like 45 minutes and you get what you got and you keep it moving. And sometimes when I get on here, a guy just said this the other day to me when I came on here. I guess I did do a live video the other day. It's been a year. And so anyway, I guess I did do a video the other day when my son was getting his hair done. I forgot about that. So there was a guy who came in there and he was like, oh, this is just basic. This is just basic dating advice. And then I clapped back at him. Usually I don't clap back, but he caught me on one of those days and I clapped back. And y'all can see that if y'all watch the video on YouTube. It was my last video, but it's funny to me because it's just like, who are you? Like if you don't like somebody's stuff, don't go in their live video. Don't go on their channel commenting. If I don't like something, I'm not going to engage. I'm going to block it. I'm going to swipe it. I'm not going to give it any energy, but it gave me an idea. When he called it basic, I actually named the video Basic Dating Tips because I actually thought it was funny. It made me think, you know what? A lot of us aren't on the same levels of dating, and what might be basic to him might be an awakening for someone else. So I can just get on here and be like, you know what, ladies, you should know that you should love yourself more than you like him. And that could be an awakening for someone. And then someone else could be like, well, duh, girl, duh. And you see what I mean? These are two different people, have two different brains, have two different upbringings. So some things may come off as basic to one person and not so much to the next person. As of me right now in my coaching, I'm actually in this training. I haven't really been online this week because I'm in this training on how to market myself. It's a heavy training, and then I'm going to enter another training after that. And it's a lot. And so in that, hold on, I'm going to scoot over here, y'all, so y'all can't see me. But in the training, some of the things in there are like, dang, how are you doing this? Why would you think to do this? Because to me, it's just like, well, why would you think to do that? Me and my brain, I'd have never thought that. But to them, it comes up to them like that. So they probably thinking I'm basic because I don't know this level of thinking. But it's not. I just wasn't aware because I didn't grow up around entrepreneurs. And so I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure it out. So if you're coming on here and you think something is basic or not, it's okay. It can be basic because we're all on our different levels. And if you think it's basic, that's your opinion, but it is what it is. Just take what you can get and keep it moving because not every messenger is going to have the message for you, or their delivery might be good, or you might not like the way they talk, but whatever. But if you're there for something, just get what you need to get and get out. That's what I do. Even with people in the real world, if they say something to me and I don't like their tone or their delivery, I think about it. I let it go through and process in my mind, and I'll take that message from them. And if whether I like them or not, it doesn't matter because the message is what it is. And maybe it is true. And maybe I need to consider it. So when you're coming on here and you're watching me talking about dating and communicating, maybe, and this goes toward the women, a lot of women, I don't know what it is about some of us, and we just don't be listening. Like, you got to listen. Or sometimes you don't want to listen to a woman, which I don't know what that's about. But whatever your case may be, if you're not getting the results that you want, then you might want to be a little bit more open to who you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're reading, who you're hanging around, and just be more open to receiving the message from wherever it's coming from. Like, that's the thing. If you want some money, you just need to be open to receiving money from where it's coming from. You ain't picking and choosing where you want money from, right? No, you can find $100 on the ground. It can come raining dollar bills. Are you gonna be like, no, I don't want it from the blue sky. I actually want it from the purple sky over there. Hell no. You just gonna be like, give me the money. Let me hold out my hands. So when it comes to advice and dating from people that you know don't have no hidden agenda, they don't want nothing from you. They're not trying to take you down through there. They're not trying to make you look stupid. Then you need to be a little bit more open, ladies and gents, specifically ladies. You need to be more open to receiving the message so that you can just get on about your business and stop making these dumb decisions like I used to. So that was just a little background for me. And then I wanted to talk about, as you can see, the title is on here, Men Who Spin the Block. So like I said, I was talking to my cousin, and I'm gonna say her name, but somebody is trying to spin the block on her. And so when you break up and now it's time to backtrack, you really got to think this through. Why am I backtracking? What is it about this person? Number one, we need to know, why did we break up? Let's get down to the root of that. Get down to the root of why you broke up. And then decide, is this a deal breaker? Is this something that can be fixed? Because I believe that when you're breaking up, you're broke up and that's it. I also believe that there are no breaks and then we're going to get back together, because that's what I've done with the dude. Remember that dude that I was with for 5 years? We broke, we break, we're broken, we're back. And that went on for 5 years. That's crazy. And so I believe that whatever your issue is when you're in this relationship, this dating situation, you got to get down to the root of it. And a lot of y'all don't want to get down to the root because you don't know how to communicate. You are horrible communicators. I've sit and witnessed people have bad communication styles every day, and it gets right underneath my skin. What I really can't stand is a filler word user, people who say basically, like. I cannot stand it. And so that's just a side note. But when you're talking about breaking up, if you can't seem to get down to the root, meaning if one party is refusing to take accountability, if they're incapable of seeing that they have done wrong, if they can't seem to see things from the outside looking in, if there is no compassion, if this person that you're dating doesn't consider you, these are all red flags. You cannot be with someone who doesn't consider you, your thoughts, your feelings, your existence. You shouldn't be with someone who you can't sit down and have a conversation with, and everything I got to be ghetto and yelling and pointing fingers and breaking glass bottles over people's heads. That doesn't make sense. If you cannot sit cool, calm, and collect with someone, and literally you be mad as HE double hockey sticks, and if you can't control yourself when they're speaking, then you have a problem. If you can't sit there and be quiet and listen, no matter how mad you are, irritated, whatever they done did, if you're incapable of having the superpower of listening, You got to get yourself together. If you're not a good communicator, because communication and dating goes hand in hand. I was listening to a radio show. It's a radio show here. I feel like I got to sneeze. It's a radio show here called The Jubal Show. And they have this where they have like a second date update, and then they have like a War of the Roses. So the War of the Roses is when someone's in a dating situation. They can be dating each other or married. And the number one thing that comes up when the woman or the guy has an issue with their partner, they might think they cheating. They always think they're cheating, right? That's always the thing. So they think they're cheating. And the one thing is that the host will ask, well, did you ask him? Like, for example, your boyfriend's cell phone, the dude you dating, his cell phone is out. You know he used to date Tasha. He said he don't F with Tasha. Tasha crazy. Tasha thing of the past. Tasha is toxic. However, lately, like, you know how your cell phone, it'll have a little and it'll show like Tasha's name up at the top, like a little message. So Tasha, you've been seeing Tasha's name like come up ever so often. According to him, he don't talk to Tasha, he don't fool with Tasha. Tasha's his ex-girlfriend. Y'all been dating for a year. So you're scared to ask him about Tasha. But why would you ever be scared to ask a person that you're spending your quality time with, you're giving your body to if you choose to, you're with them every day, you know their family, they know you're as friends, you know how much money they make, you know their social security number, y'all got a dog, y'all share the same bathroom. Like, why are you afraid to ask him, hey, I thought you didn't talk to Tasha. Do you still talk to Tasha? And he'll say, I don't know what he's gonna say. Either he gonna lie or he gonna tell the truth. And then that's when you have a conversation about Tasha. What's going on with Tasha? I thought she was out of the picture. However, I see that you are keeping in contact with Tasha. So why is this? And another thing, and this is a side note to the Tasha thing. Another thing is guys will, some of them, not all, the manipulators, when you're in a situation like this, and if he says, well, none of my other girlfriends that I've dated, they didn't really care if I had girlfriends or ex-girlfriends, and we just are just cordial and have friendships. So I think you're insecure because you don't want me to have girlfriends. Yo, I don't believe in that. Look, I'm gonna be your best friend that you ever had. And there ain't no reason for you to have ex-girlfriends as friends or just women as friends in general. I don't believe that women and dudes can be friends because someone is going to like somebody more than the other somebody, and then it's going to turn into some mess. Now, y'all can believe what y'all want to believe. I'm going off my personal experience, and I've seen it with others. However, specifically for me, ain't no way. So if you're in a situation like this to where you have to ask someone something and you feel scared to do it, you need to ask yourself, if I'm with this dude doing all this stuff that I just named off, for example, why am I afraid to ask him about Tasha? Why am I afraid to ask him about why he is non communicative after work every day, all of a sudden, between 6 and 8? Where does he go? And why, when he gets home at 8:15, do I act like it's no big deal and all is well when I am mad as HE double hockey sticks about this 2 hour block of time that he's going missing every single day? You need to ask yourself why you're afraid to use your voice. And I coach a lot of women afraid to use their voice. Why? Because I too used to be in my 20s afraid to use my voice. I remember one time I was in college. I was dating this guy. We were in a full blown relationship. I was dating him, and then in the dorms, it was co ed. And so I'm walking down the hall and I'm seeing him like hugged up with this other girl, like out in the open, not trying to hide it. And I happened to walk, I see it. He looked me right in my eyes. And don't you know, I just kept walking and I just never brung it up. Well, guess what this dude ended up doing? He ended up cheating on me. It was so bad. But karma got him real good. He ended up, after that, I ended up seeing this girl all the time. And she drove this white car like a Bonneville. And then I saw him driving it. And I'm like, who is this girl? Why all of a sudden she's around? Who is this? Well, come to find out, he was cheating on me with the said girl. And he called me on the phone one day after work. And he broke up with me over the phone. Then I confronted her because she was in his dorm room. I went right on down there. And I confronted her. I wanted to fight her. But thank God I didn't and couldn't because she said she was pregnant. She ended up not being pregnant, but she said she was pregnant because I went in there, I confronted her, and I wanted to fight. But for what? Like, what am I fighting for? Why would I even be fighting over a cheating dude? Like, that's blatantly disrespectful. Like, think about it. That's the things you got to think about now. Like, what? When I think back on that, and I ain't thought about that till right in this conversation, I'm just like, why was I going to fight her? Get this, guys. So here's his karma. So I got over it. They ended up being together in a full blown relationship. The whole campus knew they were together. Then he tried to cheat on her with me. And I was like, dude, are you for real? Like, he called me down to his dorm room one day. He was on the phone with her. She's in the bathtub. How do I know? Because he's talking to her in my face. I'm still stupid, y'all. Did I date him? Did I cheat with him while he was with her? No. But I was stupid down in his room while he talking to him in front of me. And then the icing on the cake is that there was a whole list that came out at the university I went to. There was a that came out. A lot of people are trying to join this live. And on this whole list, I don't know if you've ever heard of a whole list, but it's a list of women. Guys can be on there too. It goes both ways. But there was a list of women, and whoever came up with this list, they would describe said hoe on there, what she does, what kind of hoe she is, how she gets down. Guess who is in the top 5 of the whole list? His new girlfriend that he cheated on me with. He was beyond embarrassed. He broke up. Well, I never seen him again with her. He broke up with her. It was a mess. She ended up getting with the basketball player. I think they got married and lived happily ever after. But that was that was his karma for cheating on me. And now he's married. I know he's married to someone else now because I saw that on Facebook a long time ago. But the point is, circle back. If you're thinking about spinning the block back, you got to be aware of how that person treated you. You got to focus on the facts. This is when I say focus on the facts. Get out your feelings, because your feelings ain't going to lead you nowhere but in a dark cave. So do yourself a favor and think about how that person made. But if you're going to get into some feelings, think about how they made you feel when you were with them. Did you feel secure? Did you feel protected? Did you feel like they literally were honest? Their character was great. Did you feel like you could tell them anything? They were vulnerable, emotionally available. If you're going to feel those things. Now, outside of that, you have to think about this person and when you have conflict and what your conflict resolution is like with this person. These are things you need to think about. You're not thinking about how big his pencil is and what he can do with his pencil. We're not thinking about that because his pencil writing skills ain't going to help you from having a nervous breakdown. When you're having a nervous breakdown and someone has died in the family, when you lose your job, when you have to spend all your savings because your house accidentally exploded. Like, his pencil game ain't going to help that. So you have to think about the things that make sense. And if we can put the pencil writing aside and think about who he is, his character, how he treats strangers, what his relationship is like with his children if he has them, with his mother, how he treats you if he considers you. I keep going back to that consider word because it's a big deal. And you'll know if he considers you based upon how he treats you. Men who don't consider your feelings and men who shouldn't be even considered to spin the block for, when you're not considered, you're always confused. Your feelings, your emotions are up, down, and all around. You're constantly wondering where this is going. Does he like me? Am I good enough? Then you start to really question yourself. Your self-esteem hits rock bottom. You talk to your friends about it. They used to be in toxic relationships, so they can't give you actual good advice. And you just out here don't know what to do. And you decide to stick it out and be that ride or DIE child for this dude who isn't even considering you. He don't even care if you ate today. He ain't asking about your mental health. He ain't asking how you're feeling. He ain't asking you what struggles you got. And it's just like, come on, ladies, we got to do better. So long story short, the last thing I'll say on the spinning the block, you have to really sit down with yourself and think about why you broke up to begin with. Because with me, I say, if you're going to break up, stay broke up. Because, man, I remember this one guy that I dated when I first moved to St. Louis. He was a younger guy. Younger guys seems to like me. I don't know what that's about. I'm not really into younger guys, but I'm actually starting to consider. But it seems like more younger guys approach me than anything. And so it's interesting. But So with this younger guy, he was a great guy. My car was broke down. So I had to take the Metro Link over to Illinois because that's where he lived. So every weekend we go see each other. I take the Metro Link or he come and pick me up or whatever. Well, he started to not want to come pick me up. I don't blame him because coming from way over to Illinois to where I lived in Missouri, it was a trip and gas is not cheap. So then I just brought it up to him. I was just like, because I could tell he was tired of putting gas in his car. So I just said to him, I said, hey, why don't I just start taking a Metro Link over here? That made things easier. Well, he ended up losing his job and he did not tell me. So he started being distant. We didn't really wasn't really hanging out as much. I just figured he didn't like me because he wasn't communicating. I didn't find out until years later that he had lost his job and he was just depressed. And that's why he was down and out. And that's why he was being distant because all he was doing was sleeping because he has lost his job. And it was a good job. He worked at Pepsi at the time. And it was just like, dude, why wouldn't you just open up and tell me that? Then you spin the block. I spun the block on him. We dated again and it was so different. It was not the same, probably because I wasn't the same. He seemed to have been different. It did not work. And it was all good. There ain't no drama. I haven't seen him since, but if I saw him, I literally would talk to him. And so we still follow each other on social media. But that's a spin the block because it was just like, oh, you lost your job. No big deal. I understand. And if things worked out, they do if they don't. Now, if it's something like that, then consider it because that's a life event. But we're talking if he was a cheater, a liar, a manipulator, he was constantly confusing you, he always was hiding something, he was a bad communicator. Guys, y'all got to start making bad communication a deal breaker too. Because he can make all the money in the world, look nice, treat you right. And when it comes to communication, and he's always giving you the silent treatment, or like my one client that I had this week, she said that her boyfriend is emotionally unavailable and they've been together almost a year. And when she wants to have conversations like that need to be had, he'll shut it down. He don't want to talk about it. If you have one of those kind of dudes, you got to ask yourself, am I okay with being with a guy who doesn't want to have conversations that go beneath the surface, conversations that affect our livelihood, mental health, spiritual growth, religious beliefs? Do I want to be with someone who can only talk to me, but for so far, and they can go further? However, they're choosing to put a gate up there because they don't want to let nobody in. Like, you got to really consider yourself before considering being with a dude who's just not lining up with what you need in a relationship when you're dating someone. And I don't know why some women, we put ourselves on the back burner and we choose ourselves last. Like we put everybody before us. If we have kids, we put the kids before us, work before ourselves, friends, family, the dude. And it's just like, but what are you left with if you're coming last? I had an issue with that. And I discovered that issue recently. Like literally a few months ago, toward the end of last year, I realized I was giving so many people grace, like over grace. Like they would do something and then I would just overlook it, forgive them, more grace, more grace, more grace. And then they continue to be disrespectful. Once I discovered I wasn't even giving myself grace and I wasn't pouring that kind of energy into myself, oh no, I shut it down. So now it's just like things have changed up a lot in my life with the people that are or really not in my life and who I let be in my life and who I entertain. And so you have to treat yourself. You have to put yourself first. I have a son. I told him, I come first, sir. So whatever you got going on, figure it out. Like try to figure it out. Use your brain. I've given you tools. You have an own brain of your own because he'll be 18 this year. Like use your brain, sir, because I ain't about to be pinky in the brain, figuring your stuff out, my stuff out, his stuff out, her stuff out. And I used to be like that. Not no more. I am absolutely not. I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to work on my mental health, my spiritual health, my physical health, my business. And then, hey, we'll get to you when we get to you because I've just been putting so many people ahead of myself. And if you're doing this too, I need for you to stop. I can't take care of my son if I'm bat-ish crazy. I can't because I'm crazy. And so that's why I have to take care of mind, body, spirit, soul. I can't help my son if I'm on my 600-pound life because I keep gaining weight from drinking wine. And he got to roll me around this mug. I can't do it. So guess what? I got to get my butt over into the gym and lift some weights, figure this diet out, quit drinking wine as I have, and get myself together. Because your girl can't get no bigger. She can only get smaller at this at this point. So if you're watching this and you can relate, I hope so. And if you have not, and you're realizing now that you have not considered yourself, I need for you to start. And if you are broken up and you're thinking about backtracking, I need for you to write down the pros and the cons of it. I need you to be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, you have no business dating someone. If you can't be honest with yourself, I talk about this in my Successfully Solving Single, the 3 S's. To successfully, I have a lisp, solve single. The 3 S's are self-care, self-development, self-reliance. You want, and I've discussed this briefly on here, but pretty much you want to just be able to take care of yourself, be self-sufficient, have your own money, have your own goals, be driven, be motivated. Like you can't just be wanting to do just so he can carry you on his back. Like that don't even make sense. Sure, you want him to protect and provide, but girl, he is not supposed to breathe life in you and then help you breathe and then walk you around the block. He ain't supposed to do all that and then prop you up. That's crazy. You're not his dependent. You're supposed to be his woman, and it goes both ways. So I think that's about it for today. So I think that's all I got. And if you like this video, feel free to like this video, share it with a friend, subscribe. If you want to book a session with me, you can or not. I say that because I take it serious. I just told y'all what I do. I gave y'all a little back history on this, a little backstory. And the thing is, don't be coming over here trying to book a session with me and you think you're going to get it all in on one whop. Like I used to have this one client who would, because anytime, all right, let's just say you book me, right? You book me. I see that you book me. So then I respond through it. I send you an email. And in the email, what she would do, she would respond to my email. She write me this long book because what she's trying to do is she's trying to tell me everything in the email so that once we get on the phone, I can just advise her. So she don't have to actually sit there, tell me the story. I give her insight. She give me some more. I ask questions, give her homework at the end, follow up. She was trying to take it to be a one-stop shop and cut some corners. And a lot of women do that. And I don't like that. And so I haven't coached her in years. She was one of my early on, like in my second year, I got her. I liked her as a person. I just didn't like when she did that. That was annoying to me. So if you're going to come and be a client of mine, you need to at least commit, I say 4 sessions. You pay as you go. So when you want a session here, you pay for it. You don't pay anything, a bunch of sessions up front. You pay as you go. And then you come in, you give me the spiel. You be honest. You be open. If you cuss, cuss. If you want to cry, cry. If you mad as hell, be mad as hell. Whatever it is. And then I chime in. I ask questions. Sometimes I go from left to right. I jump from subject to subject. However, it all makes sense in the end. Then I give you your homework. You do your homework. Because on the next call, I'm going to say, did you do your homework? Because that's the first thing to come up. If you don't do your homework, I'm going to continue to give you the same homework. I remember my first client and I talked to her and she catches up with me a few times a year because I talked to her a couple times this year already. I remember with her, she wouldn't do her homework because she thought that I ain't going to say she thought I was her enemy. I'm not going to say that. But she had to get to know me. And once she figured out, okay, girl, yeah, you called it. You said it. Like I would say things to her. I would predict things that were going to happen. She would get on the defense with me. She would get angry at me until what I was predicting would happen. She would see it. She would be like, oh my God. And then she started listening because a lot of y'all don't listen at first, but then y'all do. And then you get your results. So if you're going to come work with me, let's work, but we're going to have to do the work. How do y'all think I got here? If I didn't do none of the work from being naive and green, infatuated with these dudes with the hearts in my eyes, how in God's green do y'all think I would be able to tell y'all this stuff? And I'm just giving y'all bits because this is free. This is free game right here. I'm not going to give you the real that can really like make some changes because then that's behind a paywall. But for the things I've given you, how do you think I would have got here from there to here if I didn't do my own work? I didn't have a life coach. I was micromanaging my dang self from trial and error and a lot of error. And that's why I don't want y'all to do that. So look at all my free videos. Start on my Facebook, Coach B. Wiley. There are a ton of videos on there. On my Instagram, I'm redoing my Instagram, so there's nothing to see. There are videos over there. There are videos. There aren't any posts but one. But you can look at my Instagram. If you're on here on TikTok, look at my TikTok. I've been on TikTok since 21, I think. And then look on my YouTube. The YouTube is the lottery. That's where you'll find almost 1,000 videos on there. Free game, free knowledge. Jot it down. You don't ever have to hire me if you don't want to. But if you're ready to do work, you hire me. My mentor, life coach, B. Wiley. You shoot me a DM. You email me. datingtips@coachbwiley.net. Do what you got to do. If you know, you got a friend, a home girl, a cousin, a aunt, a niece who could benefit from my dating and communicating services, you send them my way. If you want to buy my book soon, all my books. Hello, my name is Single. Successfully solving single. How to communicate with your mate. And daily declarations are all going to be on one site. I'm actually working on that in the background right now. My website is up technically, but there ain't nothing on there because I got to put the stuff on there. But just email me if you want me to ask you a question, or put it in the comments, or DM me. I'll answer a quick question just like this. I was talking to my cousin before I got on here. She's the one. I said, girl, I need an idea. I knew I was going to talk about me and how I became a life coach, but I didn't have an idea of what I was going to talk about. And she came up with it, and I wrote it right down right here. It's called Broke Up and Backtracking. All right, guys. So that's it. I was on here for about 40 minutes. I got over 1,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. And if you ever have a question for me, I just told you what to do. Outside of that, I'll talk to you later.